at the end of this module, you'll be able to first understand Python and object-oriented programming language. Actually, we'll have to remove this. It's not at the end of this module. Okay, it's end of third or fourth. And list the use cases of Python for data analytics. Define identifier and indentation. Right. The most important thing in Python is indentation. Okay, you write a Python program. And unlike other languages, right, wherein you have parentheses, flower braces, or parentheses, to denote a block of code, here you do not have such identifiers. So all you have in Python is indentation, okay, which is very important. So if you miss an indentation, you are gone. Your program will not work. That's the only tricky part about it. It's not even tricky, that's you'll get used to it while you start running a program. So that's the only thing that you'll have to remember in Python. It's a very simple language. And finally, running a Python script. What is Python? Like I told you, Python is a very high-level dynamic object-oriented programming language, right? It's extremely easy. When we say it's a very high-level dynamic object-oriented programming language, you do not have to take care of a lot of things here. There is very less syntax to worry about. It's only the indentation that you need to worry. And like in other languages, okay, I'm sharing my screen, right? Let me take you here. Okay, so this is a Python idle. It's a Python GUI, right? In other programming language, let's say you were writing some code in Java, right? How do you write hello world, public static void main, and then there is something, and then you say print, and then hello world there, you close the braces and stuff. There's a lot of line of code there, right? But in this case, all you do is you say print, and then you say hello world. Done, right? Or you say print, and then with the later versions, these are available, okay? Hello world. And you see, you have written your first program. Right, so it's as simple as this: colon, and then you write your function whatever, x plus y equal to 2 or something like that, right? So this becomes your function. So it's as simple as that. Okay, so Python is very simple programming language. The only thing that you have to worry about is indentation. That's about it. So that's why it's called very high-level dynamic object-oriented programming language. Python is easy to program and read. That's what you'll understand, right? It's extremely easy to understand. It's more like, and until unless you go to packages, okay? When you go to packages, it becomes a little complicated and you might not be able to understand, but till then, it's more like an English language. It's similar to Perl, but powerful typing and object-oriented features, okay? So, and it's commonly used for producing HTML contents of website. So, having said that, let me take you to a quick program. Everyone knows imdb.com, right? You check out all the ranking of the movies there, and you see which are the best movies which has been released, etc. What are the comments on those movies, and then you go to watch it, right? So what I've done is I've taken all the movies from IMDb, and then it goes to IMDb's website. This is the website. This is just to invoke your interest, okay? See the Dark Knight and Inception and so on and so forth. This was released recent 2008, 2010, 2012, so on and so forth, right? IMDb.com, the list of movies. So this program of mine, all it does is it goes to IMDb's website and then pulls out the first top 50 movies, and then it gives other information like the first one is The Dark Knight, and the genre is action, adventure, thriller. It runs, the runtime is 152 minutes, rating is 9, and image source is this, right? This is what this program does. This is mostly indentation, and hardly the logic here would be around 10 lines of code, okay? Not even 10. I think 6 to 7 lines of code, and I've used a package called Beautiful Soup. Okay, so what it does is whenever you go to a particular web page, right, you say view source. What's that? Okay, this is the HTML content of the page, right? Whatever is in IMDb is also available here in this source. So it loads this inside my Beautiful Soup package, and then it parses it. Now we'll stop it there on the parsing aspect of it, but I just want you to understand that it's done very easily. I mean, web scraping, etc., loading of HTML, parsing it, and then pulling out only things that is needed. It's done in very simple and easy way in Python. Okay. So moving on, use built-in types. There are lists and dictionaries. I'm going to talk in extreme detail about what a list and dictionary is a little later. And then you have you have your class, you have inheritance, etc. You have all those things which are available in OOPS here in Python. The syntax is pretty clean, right? You do not have to worry about parentheses, etc. All you have to do is you have to worry about the spacing as to indentation. It's great for text processing. I mean, all those sentiment analysis you do in text, that's Python is extremely good for that. You have some of the powerful packages called natural language processing, NLP packages here in Python, using which you can do great deal of text analytics. Now, why Python? Python focuses on readability, coherence, and software quality in general, and sets it apart from other programming language in the scripting world. Now, let me show you a simple program. Okay, I'm just trying to show you a simple program, but let's go here, right? Okay, this is a complicated program. I think I do not have here. Okay, let's not go to this. Okay, we'll see that a little later as and when it comes. Python focuses on readability. Okay, because mostly whatever I have in here right now, it's all related to packages, so I do not want to talk about it right now. But otherwise, Python, focuses on readability without those packages. If you are doing some simple stuff, right, like loading the data, manipulating the data, or writing your own small programs, it's extremely readable. Like I told you, it's more like plain English language. And the software quality in general is very high in the sense that you write very least number of lines of code. As an example, let me take you through this. Let me say X equal to Hong Kong. Okay. Now, if I say X, it has been it gives me Hong Kong. I mean, you didn't define a variable, you didn't define a data type, but then it automatically interprets this as string and then stores it in X. Now, let's say I just want all of these letters individually. How do I do that? If I were to be in some other programming language, Java, C, C++, wherever it is, what I have to do is I have to write a program to find the length of the string, iterate through this length of string, pull out each words using substring, and display it. But in Python, X1, and then you get O. X of 0, the indexing starts with 0. So, see, X of 0 is H, X of 1 is 0, X of 2 is N. So, everything is in a list. Already it has been indexed. This is 0th index, this is first index, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, right? And so on. So it's already indexed. So there's a lot of things that you do not have to do, which is already done. That's the power of Python. Okay. That's just one example. You'll look into more power of it a little later. Okay. Now, developer productivity, Python code is typically 1/3 or 1/5 the size of equivalent C++ or Java code. It's significant saving in its time and your effort, right? If you're writing so less lines of code, I mean, just look at this example. If you are manipulating a string, look at how easy Python makes it to manipulate string. And that means there is less to type, less to debug, and less to maintain. Program portability, Python programs run unchanged on all major computer platforms, for example, Windows, Linux, Mac. You can take the same code and run anywhere. It will run exactly the same. Support libraries. Python comes in yeah, with a large collection of pre-built and portable functionality known as standard library. And Python being an open source, there are thousands and thousands of individuals around the world who are contributing in Python packages, right? So it's your time is saved. If, let's say, for example, I want to do some analysis on Twitter, I want to put tweets data. All I have to do is I have to pass some few configuration parameters, and the package has already been written, not one or two, but there are multiple packages that has been written. So all you have to do is choose the right one for yourself and get going. That's it, right? It's that easy. So there are, if you see the amount of packages that I have used here is, if you go here, look at the number of packages that I've used. Only so many, right? But then if you see the number of packages that are available, and many are not available in PyCharm, right? It's just that you'll have to log into the PyDocs website or somewhere whoever has created into their website and pull out the executables. Python scripts can easily communicate with other parts of an application using a variety of integration mechanisms. Like I told you initially itself, Python can very well integrate with Pig, Hive, all the big data tools, technologies. Python can also communicate with JDBC server. It can connect to any databases, be it Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, SQLite, any database that you can think of, even HBase for that matter. It can connect to that and pull out the data, manipulate it, upload it all over again. So Python is, in that sense, Python is very powerful. And it's enjoyment, right? I mean, if your programming becomes so easy, wherein you have to type on so many lines of code to achieve a big task, you'll be happy and then you'll enjoy programming. I at least enjoy writing Python program. About Python, invented in Netherlands in the early 90s by Guido van Rossum, and it's named after Monty Python, a comedy group, as Python is fun to use. So it's not named after Snake, okay? It was named after a person called, it's named after actually a comedy group, Monty Python, right? So it's named after that. It's generally people confuse it to be name of Snake from where Python was named, but it's not. It's open source and interpreted language. I'm sure all of you will understand the difference between compiler and interpreter, what's interpreted language and what's compiled language, right? If you do not, if I see some questions on that, I'll respond to it. Considered a scripting language, but it's much more than that. It's not just a scripting language. I mean, people say Python as a scripting language, but it has its own class. You can create your own class. It's extremely powerful. It's more extensive than any other language that I can think of. So it's not just a scripting language. It's scalable, object-oriented, and functional. It's used by Google and increasingly popular. Google uses Python extensively. The whole Amazon Web Services has been built on top of Python, or you might call it as Django, right? And the whole Hortonworks framework has been built on top of Python. Python can not only do your background work like what we have been talking. You can also create your own website. You can. There is an interactive Python called IPython. So Python is much more than what we normally tend to think. A scripting language cannot be so extensive, but Python is, and it's not actually a scripting language. And Python job trends from Indeed.com, right? Look at the Python job trends. This is Java and this is Python, right? Python has been going on. See, it's going on till January 13. It was above everything else, and it compared to Java, PHP, Perl, .NET, Python was way above the rest. So learn it well, and there's a lot of scope and opportunity. Python is at the top of the list among the top dogs: Java, JavaScript, PHP, according to RedMonk first quarter plot for 2014 ranking. Okay, so. And it's not just that, Python is still upcoming. Many companies are still trying to implement Python, but it's not that Python has been here right now. It was invented in early 90s, so it's been in existence for almost like 25-30 years now, or okay, maybe 25 years, right? So it's been there in the industry for quite some time, but it's gaining popularity right now, and there's a lot of demand for it. I can see there are a lot of requirements coming in for Python these days. Users of Python, YouTube was originally written in Python and MySQL, okay? And Dropbox web-based file hosting service is implemented using Python. Yahoo acquired 411, whose address and mapping lookup services were implemented in Python. Yahoo Maps uses Python. Google, many components of Google Spider and search engine are written in Python. So, and I told you, Amazon Web Service, there's Yum, Shopzilla, Zope Corporation, Ultraseek, they all use Python. They're all, some of these are purely based out of Python. So, if you look at some of these big data products like Hortonworks and Amazon Web Service, they're purely written on Python. So you can imagine, how much you have scope in Python and what's the power of Python there. Traditional uses of Python has been done for writing scripts or writing some programs which are similar to C, C++, for image processing, for database programming, etc. You have packages to connect to database, and you can manipulate the data from database. Internet scripting, like I told you, right? Pull the data out of internet using your web scraper, etc. Artificial intelligence, of course, you have your machine learning packages extensively built in Python. You also have natural language processing in Python, GUIs, Tinker, GTK, Windows. So they have traditionally used Python. And it's not just all these systems might not just be exclusively using Python. They might be using Python with Java, right? But then all we're trying to say here is that Python is also extensively used. Uses of Python in data analytics is used for weather forecasting, scientific analysis, ad targeting, risk management. Now, it's not that all of this can't be done in other programs. It can be done, but with Python it becomes much more easier. Like, right? Let's say I'm a data scientist, right? And I want to test some hypothesis, or look at some data. I have a huge set of data. I want to do some analysis on data so that I do some kind of prediction at the end of it. I mean, do you think I have the patience to write thousands and thousands of lines of code in Java? No, I would not, right? Or normally I would either ask someone to do it for me, or if I'm going to do it myself, I would rather use Python, because Python is powerful and I do not have to write a lot of programming. So Python is extensively used for ad hoc analysis. New use cases of Python are major growth driver for increasing demands for Python skills. Okay, I see it. If you are in India, you might see there are a lot of website or Naukri.com, Monster. Just go and have a look at it. You'll see a lot of Python requirements these days. The use cases are emerging because of various reasons, one of which is the new packets that were added into the standard libraries such as PyDo, Pandas, SciPy, etc. I'm going to talk all about these things, PyDo, Pandas, SciPy. I'm going to talk about all of this later. Okay, so and even if you know big data and Hadoop, right? These days, I've also seen requirements wherein they say that I saw this requirement for Singapore recently. I actually got an invite, but I generally don't go for such things. It says that they wanted someone with Python and Hive experience. I mean, I thought that was a weird combination. It's just that why do I want to just write UDF? They mostly had requirement for writing UDF on Python in Python and integrate that with Hive. So that was the requirement, and they wanted people for that in Singapore. Just go and have a look at it after today's class. Just look out in Monster, Naukri, or whichever job portals, and then you'll be able to see the requirements in Python. Python users for data analytics, Forest Watch, they use for weather forecasting, App Nexus, you have Altis, you have Los Alamos. They all use Python for one reason or the other. All all we have listed here is that it's not just few companies. Even Google uses Python for data analytics. Amazon uses that majorly for data analytics. Okay, so it's not just the ones that are listed here. There are a lot more, many companies than this. Python timelines. January 1994, we had Python 1.0 and Python 1.5 by December 31, 1997, 1.6 by September 5, 2000, and then we had Python 2. There are various versions for Python 2 and then Python 3, but the most stable of all of this is Python 2.7. Okay, it has extensive support of packages throughout the community. Most of the community users or folks, whoever are writing those packages, they use Python 2.7, and hence that's the reason why I said, just go for 2.7 and not 3.2, 3.3, 3.4. Even they are little changed than the previous one. They look a little better, but please prefer 2.7 because it's more powerful than these are. Many of these packages which are available in 2.7 are yet to adapt to 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, and 3.4. Yeah, in this course we are going to use version 2.7. It is because the library support for 3.x is not adequate to fulfill day-to-day business needs. Okay, some of them are coming up. There are many packages which has already migrated to 3.1, 3.2, and 3.4, but there are many which are yet to be. It's still work in progress. So that's the reason why I said, please fall back. And if you have installed 3.2, some of the syntax might not work. Let's say, for example, here, right? If you just write print like this in 3.2, this will not work. Okay. You might have to write, I tried it once and then I uninstalled it actually. You might have to write something like this. So only this is available in 3.2, this does not work. So maybe I installed 3.2.1 or something, some flavor. So if you have some other flavor and if it works, well and good, but if it does not, just fall back to 2.7, that's the better version. Okay, these are some of the cartoons, right? It says, using Python you can fly. Not digging deeper into this. Okay, Python is interpreted, dynamic, object-oriented, highly readable, interactive, and functional. Okay, how we'll see that? We will, we will dissect and bisect, and we will analyze each of these one by one. So how to get Python? Okay, compile and interpret language. Okay, scripting is plain scripting. The scripts that you write. It's not like a proper programming language per se. If you have worked on any programming language, you have a set of syntax and semantics to follow, right? But in scripting, you do not have that. It's just look at Python. I mean, the only thing that I did here is open an idle and then said hello, print hello world, and then it gave me an output. So that's scripting, right? Whereas compiled is generally when you compile a code, it directly gets translated into machine language and machine is able to understand it, right? But in the interpreted language, whenever you interpret a language or whenever a language is called interpreted, the first thing that happens there is that the code which is there gets compiled into an intermediate stuff, and then the JVMs or whatever is available, the processor will take the data, that intermediary step thing, and then convert into machine language. So interpreted has 3 steps, whereas compiled has only 2 steps. You have code and then you have machine language, whereas interpreted has code, interpreted code, and then you have machine code, right? Those are the 3 things. Make sense, Jacob? Because at the end of the day, everything has to be compiled into machine format. Okay, so interpreted is slower than compiled. Yes, absolutely, you are right. So Akbar, Java has JVM and Python uses what? Python does not need JVM. Python is an interpreted language. It gets converted into intermediary, and the processor is able to convert that. It does not need a virtual machine there. Moving on to, so many of you are asking about how to get Python, right? So see, Python is pre-installed on most Unix Linux system. Also, please visit LMS for further information on installation. But if you see here, it's like I told you, it's installed on Mac and Unix systems. The pre-installed version is 2.x. I think you'll get 2.7 or 2.7.6, whatever 2.x version. You can check the version installed on the machine by using the command. This is all in Linux, okay? In your Ubuntu machine, if you say Python -- version, it will give you Python version. And please refer to the detailed installation guide available in LMS, okay? So I hope this answers everyone's question. Okay, guys, please visit LMS. It's a simple step, couple of steps, and you'll be done. You just have to download a file. That's all. Now, Python interpreter has a built-in function called help object. The function is intended for interactive use which invokes the help system. To use function, type help or help. Okay, let's see here. Let's say, for example, you do not know how certain thing works. Okay, I just type help. Okay, sorry, HELP, and then open braces and close braces, and then I am inside help now. Okay, and then you want to know about how do you you do not know how for works. Okay, so I say for, and then you see I have everything related to for. Okay, and like that for anything for that matter, for and whichever commands you want to use it, or for example while, right, everything, whatever command you want to see, you can see it here. Also, there is other way to do that. You can do that using PyDoc as well, but with my version, PyDoc does not work. Okay, let me see. Control C, PYDOC for. Okay, it does not work with my version, but you can also use this, PyDoc in other. In Ubuntu, it certainly works, but here it's not. You see, that's what it says here. You see, in Ubuntu it works, right? PyDoc for, and then it gives you the complete Python documentation. Okay, but this is my Windows idle, so it does not work here. It's a documentation module for Python which gets installed with Python distribution. PyDoc allows programmer to access Python documentation. That's about it. I mean, it's similar to help. Okay, so moving on. And then we have Python IDE. IDE is integrated development environment which is used as code editor, including a series of peripheral components and attachments. The most important feature of Python IDE is beyond ordinary text editor. So the IDE that I used is PyCharm, right? The good thing about PyCharm is that, let's say, for example, let's say I want to import some package, import, let's say matplotlib, and then if I say matplotlib dot, and then you see it gives me all the packages, etc. So it makes your life much more easier. And if there is any error here, let's say for example here, right, in this case I've written a program called list hello world. Okay, here you see list hello world, and if I want to print each of them, I write for element in list print element, right? What does this do? It'll just print hello and world in two different lines, right? But let's say I do not give the proper indentation. You see, it's already showing me an error. Can you see the red here? And if I run like this, it gives me an error. So with your IDE, you are able to accurately identify what the problem is even before you run your program. But with with this, with idle, you will not be able to do that. Okay. Okay, you can use any version of PyCharm, Bharat. It's just that internally, whichever version of Python you have installed will connect to that. Okay. Okay, I think you're good with that. So, moving on, you can download free community edition of PyCharm in the below link. Guys, just after the class is over, download this PPT and then get the link from here. Or visit LMS and you'll have there as well. To start Python, all you need to do is to type Python on your command line. You can also do something similar to this, right? Okay, not this one. Okay, it's not in my path. Otherwise, you know, if your Python is already in your path, let's say for example, in your Linux machine, all flavors of Linux machine, you can just say Python and then it will start Python. Even on Windows, if it is configured on your path, you can just say Python and it will start running. It's as simple as you're trying to you know, run any other command. Let's say for example, I run this ping utility, right? Ping, when I say ping google.com -t, it starts pinging, right? It's as simple as that. You just say Python, and if the path is configured, you know, you'll have it. Okay. From here on, the $sign denotes the start of terminal. Okay, that's for Linux operating system, which I'm not going to use until my 4th or 5th class. Okay, so you do not have to worry about it. I'm just going to use either idle or my PyCharm. Okay, this is about, and you see here, print hello world, right? This is what I showed, this is what I wrote. You see, quantity stored in memory are not displayed by default, x equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If the quantity stored in memory, typing the name will display it, right? Like I did here. If I want something to be in memory, I just do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? This is in memory. Now, if I want to display it, I say x, or I can say print of x as well. It's the same thing. And okay, moving on. Now, there are single line comments as well as bulk comments. Any text on the right of hash symbol is mainly used as notes for the reader. It's more like comment. If you see in my code here, all my code will have lot of hashes. See, use it to track the movie, fetching the values. So these are good programming practices that we generally follow, right? Like writing comments in front of every line of code that you write. So with hash, which is a single line comment, I've written all these things. And you have bulk comments. You just write something like this, 1, 2, 3, and this is a bulk comment. Anything that starts with this is a bulk comment here. Okay, so this is a comment. Okay, this is multi-line comment. And literal constant, any number or string that represents itself is literal constant. The number 2 always represents itself and nothing else. It's constant because its value cannot be changed. Okay, one of the most interesting thing, okay, with Python is that, you know, everything is stored. There is no variable here. Okay, let me show you something here. Very interesting. Okay, guys, watch it. Okay, ID will give you the exact location where anything is stored. Let's say, for example, ID of 1. Okay, it will give you that everything is stored in Python. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all alphanumeric, literals, everything is stored. So that's the reason why you do not have any variable, right? So when I say what's the ID of 1, it gives me 6780760. Now watch this. X equal to 1. Now ID of X is similar to ID of 1. What do you understand from this? Okay, Akbar says memory location. That's it. I mean, the variable here does not have any significance rather than just pointing to the number 1, right? Because both X, the memory location of X, as well as the memory location of 1 is pointing at the same memory location, which is 6780760. Guys, are you able to understand this? This is a very simple yet very interesting concept. This is different from all other programming language. In other programming language, if you had X, it would be stored as a variable. It would have its own address, etc., and which might refer to something else. But in this case, you have the value which is being stored, and the variables are just pointing to that. Now, Python supports different types of numeric types. You have example 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They are all integers, right? Integers are implemented as C-longs. It's comparable to C-longs. And dividing an integer by another integer will return only the integer part of quotient. Example, dividing 7 by 2 would yield 3. So see this, 7 divided by 2 is 3. Now how do I get 3.5? But the actual result is 3.5, right? Guys, can you guess how do we get 3.5? And long integers will have L at the end, and must end in either L smaller or capital L, can be arbitrarily long. Floating point numbers, it's 0.10, or this is also fine, right? It's also the same thing, right? See, 7.2, or it gives you 3.5. Operation involve both floats and integer will yield floats. Okay, so it's by default it does not give you a floating point. Integer divided by integer gives you integer, and floating point divided by floating point will give you floating point. But if you want to cast it, you either import a package or you do dot, or you play around with it. Types of numbers, we have octal constants. It starts with leading 0. Hexadecimal constants, it must start with OX or O capital X. Complex numbers, we all know how a complex number looks like. A plus ij must end with j, small j or capital J. Typing in an imaginary part first will return the complex number in the order re plus imj, right? So basically we have, these are the types of number we have: octal, hexadecimal, complex. Python identifiers, an identifier starts with anything, any letter between A to Z, or an underscore followed by 0 or more letters, right? Underscores, 0 more letters, underscores, and any digits, right? But Python does not allow special characters such as this with an identifier, okay? It does not allow all this with an identifier. The only exception to it is underscore followed by 0 and digits. So class name starts with uppercase letter and all other identifiers with a lowercase letter. So these are some of the naming conventions. You can also go through it later if you don't remember it right now. Starting an identifier with a single leading underscore indicates by convention that the identifier is meant to be private. So which we'll talk in detail in our OOPS class, object-oriented concepts class for Python. Starting an identifier with 2 leading underscores indicates a strongly private identifier, which again we'll discuss later in our third or fourth class. If the identifiers also end with trailing underscore, the identifier is a language specified special name. So in that case, right, let's say for example here, A, okay, A does not, there is nothing called A, right? 1, 2, 3. Now it gives me what is there about, what are the procedures and methods that this list has. See, this is already defined variable there. It's a language defined special name, okay? If you go here, it gives you a list. It says new empty list, end list, iterable, new list, initialized from iterables items. So for anything that you would have defined here, if you want to see the list of procedures and methods that are already available with that particular identifier or variable that you might want to call, you can just say a dot underscore dot. It'll give you all those details. Now we have a question here. Okay, hello there. My name is Annie, and I love quizzes and puzzles, and I'm here to make you guys think and answer my question. Now, which of the below identifiers is incorrect? The only exception to the rule of an identifier is underscore, okay? And Python does not allow special characters such as at the rate, dollar, percentage with identifiers. Okay, so you have dollar here. Basic algebra operations, guys. I'm not going to type in everything. Please take an effort to type it yourself later. I'm just going to read through some of this because it's easy and self-explanatory. If you need me to type something, please do let me know. Okay, if you do not understand something, please ask me. But if I think something is very easy and it's very trivial, I would not do it myself here. So divisions of two integers, 5 by 2, you get an integer. Division of float and an integer, it's 5.0 by 2, or you can do a 5 by 2.0, or just say point also is fine, right? Like you saw. And now there is one more question. Okay. Was there anything I missed? Okay, for arithmetic operation, a plus b, a minus b, a into b, a divided by b, modulo is a percentage b, exponential is a star into b. Other elementary functions are not part of standard Python but included in packages like NumPy and SciPy that we'll be covering later. And greater than, less than, etc. You see a less than b, a greater than b, a less than equal to, a greater than equal to. Identity test is a equal to b or a not equal to b. Okay, these are comparison operators. Now, so when a equal to 5 and b equal to 2, then what will be the value of a into 3 into b? So this is like 5 into 3, 15 into 2, 30. This is simple. Left hand side is simple. Right hand side, it's all like, if you all remember BODMAS, right? Bracket of division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. I think you'll be able to do this. So if you guys have calculated, right side is also. So let's see. Yeah, the answer is false. It's because the value of the expression, this and the right expression are equal. Okay. Operations on numbers. Okay. This is easy. It's not difficult, but let's go through it. 7 or 5 is nothing but, you know, this 7 is converted into bits. That's 1, 2, 4, and this becomes 7, and 1, 2, 4, which is equal to 5, 1 or 1, 1, 1 or 0, 1, 1 or 1, 1. So this becomes 7. This is bitwise OR, okay? It's simple here. Bitwise AND is again similar. 1 and 1 is 1, 1 and 0 is 0, 1 and 1 is 1. So 7 and 5 becomes 5, 7 or 5 becomes 7. This is XOR operator. 1 and 1 becomes 0. It's XOR, okay? If you remember your, you know, logic, what is that called? Logic. Okay, some class, it used to be there in engineering. I forgot the name of the class. Okay, anyways. Okay, logic gates, and this is XOR 1 or 1 is 0, 1 or 0 is 1, and 1 or 1 0. So XOR operator is 2, and then you have shift a left or shift by b bits. So this says 7 shift by 5, right? 7 is 1 1 1. Okay, and then if you shift that by 5, it goes. This goes towards the end. 1 2 3 4 5. So this shifts here. This shifts here. You see where it's shifting, and then this becomes 224, and then this shifts to our right, which makes it 0. Okay. Anything to explain here? Okay. Let's say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So this is 1, and this is 2 to the power 0. This is 2 to the power 0, 2 to the power 1, 2 to the power 2, 2 to the power 3, 2 to the power 3, 2 to the power 4, 2 to the power 5, 2 to the power 6. Okay, this is binary. Okay, Srini, let me just explain. Okay, give me some time. Now let's say you have to represent 5, right? If you have to represent this as 5, we'll just see as to how much 5 gets added to. This is 5, 1 and 1. Now 1 and 1, right? This adds up to 5. 4 plus 1 makes it 5. Now it is 6. Let's say for For that matter, 4 plus 2, 6. The rest everything would be 0, okay? The rest everything would be 0. I don't know, my Excel sheet is not moving very fast. Okay, and just drag the 0 everywhere. Right, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, this is how it is. Okay, okay, excellent, you got it. So operation on numbers, this is also done. So operation on numbers, it is not surprisingly Python follows the PEDMAS rule. It's not the BODMAS rule that Python follows, but it follows PEDMAS, right, which is parenthesis, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction order of operations. Python supports mixed type math. The final answer will be the most complicated type used. Okay, that's how Python supports the mixed math. Now expression is let's do it, right. 100 minus 24 into 3. Okay, I think what I will do is instead of this, I'll ask you to do it. So guys, if you're doing it, just have a look at it. Okay, expression is 100 minus 24. It's PEMDAS, parenthesis, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. Okay, 100 minus 24, it's evaluated like this. First, it takes 100 minus and then 24 into 3, and then modulus of 5, and then you get 200 minus 2, it's just 98. This is how you get the final result. Okay, if you want me to do it here, it's 100 minus, what's the 24 into 3, 24 into 3, and 98, right? That's how it is. It's simple. And but this one is 100 minus 24 into it first calculates parentheses, and in this parenthesis 3% of 5 is 3, and 24 into 3 is 72. Now 100 minus 72 is 28. Okay, that's how you get the result. So guys, here you go. It's your time to do now. What's the output of 100 into 2 exponential of 100 into 20 exponential of 2 divided by 4? It's 10,000. Okay. Here you go. According to PEMDAS, exponents will be calculated first, then multiplication will be done, and final division. So it's some like this. Exponents will be first. PE, right? So PE, it's exponential, and then you have multiplication, and then finally you have division, right? P 20 exponential of 2 is 400, 400 into 100 is 40,000 divided by 4 is 10,000. So moving on, okay, Python does not support character type. These are treated as strings of length 1, thus considered a substring. Okay, so strings are immutable. Okay, you cannot, strings are immutable, it's not mutable. So strings are ordered blocks of text. Strings are enclosed in single or double quotation mark. If you see this is a string here, ABC, or double quotation ABC. They're all enclosed within either single quotes or double quotes. Double quotation marks allow the user to extend strings over multiple lines without backslashes, which usually signal the continuation of an expression. So you understand this, right? If I have multiple lines here, I generally have to use, if I have multiple line string, then I have to use double quotes. Examples are ABC and ABC. Concatenation of string, it's very simple here. You see, let's say ABC x equal to ABC, y equal to DEF. So if I say x plus y, I get ABCDEF. It's as simple as that. This is string concatenation, right? And then if I say Z equal to X plus Y, I have everything in Z. Now Z of, let's say I want 0. I get this. Now I want everything starting from second string to fourth string, right? Okay, sorry, I have to give Z, right? So I missed Z. And then it says 4, right? If you look at this 0, 1, 2, right? It starts with 3 and 4. So 2 to 4 is nothing but 0, 1, 2, 3. It's here, CD. So it just prints CD. So if I want everything from, let's say, starting to the 4th string, it's this one. If I want everything which starts from 4 to the end, is this. Say it's so easy. I mean, the string manipulation is extremely easy with list here. Okay, make sense, guys? We'll see more of this string manipulation later. It's just an example that I'm giving right now. Okay, thanks, Prem. So ABC, and if you want to multiply it, right, there are a lot of operations. I'll run through some of these, and I'll skip some of them. So here x equal to ABC. If I say x into 3, it multiplies ABC 3 times. That's string multiplication here, string repetition. Sorry, and then you can see, okay, len length of x 3, right? And what else you have? You know this. I have already walked you through this as well. Just go through this once, you'll be able to understand everything. It's pretty simple. And important thing is here, Python starts indexing at 0. Okay, like I've been telling you, it starts with 0. But then if you say it has to, you have to pull out the first 4 string, you'll have to give 0 to 5. It will take 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? That's how it will give. So a string S will have an index running from 0 to length minus 1. For example, Edureka, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? The length of this, okay. It will be, the index will start from 0 to 6, the length will be 7, and then if you have to print this, it will be like, you can say 0 to 7, or you can just say colon and then give 7. It will print everything. Okay. Now, membership checking. In returns true if character exists in a given string, right? If D in Edureka, it will just say true because D exists in Edureka. Okay, it's something like, okay, A in my, okay, I think this has to do with, again, versioning. It's okay, sorry, it's not versioning, it's my mistake here. Okay, A in ABC or A in X, right? It's all true. Okay, or let's say I say it's false, right? So this is just membership checking. Okay, I have similar to in, I have not in as well. You can use both of these to check whether the string exists or not. See, right now you might not find the utility of what I'm saying, but when we start writing programs, right, you'll definitely find utility of all these things. Okay, string formatting operator %. My name, this operator is unique to string and makes up for the pack of having functions in C printf family. If you have written C program, it's very similar to that. My name is %s, which means string, and %d, which means digit, years, and then you have given Anna and 21. So it replaces %s with A and A and %d with 21. So that's all it does. That's string formatting. Okay. And you have some of the other functions like built-in methods, which is capitalized. It just capitalizes the first string, and then you have count. You are using regular RE. Okay. You are saying s.count RE, and from 0 to length of S, you're counting RE in S. What is S? S is Edureka. So RE, yes, it exists. How many exist? Just 1. Okay. Does it make sense, guys? Now this is fine. This is done. And then these are some few functions which, guys, you can go ahead and try it. I'm not going to try it all. These are simple functions. Capitalize will capitalize it. You are just counting RE from 0 to length, and then there is just one number of repetitions. Edureka, RE is repeated just once. Or you can also do print of s.count. S is your Edureka, right? Object.count, and then whatever you have to count RE, it's just giving you 1. And then you have encode base 64 to strict. So you have encoding as well, returns encoded string version of strings on error. Default is to raise value error unless error is given with ignore or replace. So you have that as well. Encode, you have decode, you have index of RE, and then you get index on 3. If you see here 0, 1, 2, 3, so it comes on third. Print s.index is RE, so it's giving the same thing. So basically these are few functions. You can go ahead and try it out, and you'll be able to understand. It's pretty simple. And then even if you then do not understand it, just look out for the documentation of it in Python, and you'll be good with it. So also, see, it's so simple, right? S equal to Edureka, and then you say print max of S will give you U, because you would have the maximum even ASCII characters, right? LMNOPQ or STU. It's after that you DWXYZ will just not appear here. So max is that, min is A, right? And you replace S dot replace E with this one, and then you get this Edureka. You say S dot replace E with this one, you get this one. So on and so forth, right? Upper, you just do S dot upper, and then you get all characters in uppercase. So these are few functions here, and also I was talking about a lot about indentation, right? Leaving white space at the beginning of a logical line is used to compute the indentation level of a line, which in turn is used to determine the grouping of the statements. Now let me go back to my example here. Where's my example? Right? In this example, when I run like this without proper indentation, it gives me an error. But let's say I give one indentation and then it runs, because there are not much code, right? But generally, the norm is to give 3 lines of indentation, or 3 spaces, or I generally tend to give it tab. Okay. If there is for here, and then if there is one more for, it has to come here. Okay. For I in element. And then this will again not work, so you'll have to give it here. So now if I type something here, the for end is 4 is over here, okay? 4 starts here and then gets if I start typing here again something, this is not part of this internal 4. This is part of this external 4. It's all about indentation in Python. Okay. So even with this, it will be same, hello, 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 hello world. Now it's going for each of those elements, and then I am printing for I in element. It says hello, print I. Okay, see this? It gave me hello world. Now this will give me 2 things, right? Hello and world in 2 different lines. Hello and world. Now let's say I want to take each of these characters from this hello here and say for L in I, right? That means for each of this hello, right, I pull out each and every words from here or letter from here, and then I am printing L. Make sense? Now let's see. It gives me hello world. Make sense, Deepika? Okay, excellent. So that's that there. So you don't have to declare nothing. There is no declaration. Only the list, whichever value I needed. I just put it somewhere, and then I started with directly for loop. There is no declaration. That there is nothing. It's very simple. And then you can save this file as example.py, and then you can call this file directly as well. It becomes your program. Or if you have to define this as a function, you say def and abc, and then again indentation. it's not continuation per se, but it's something which states that okay, this is a special kind of keyword that's in use, and let's say it's only used for, while, function definition, etc. So it identifies that it's a special function there, and it's intended for some kind of purpose. Okay, excellent. Let's move on. So it's the same example here. You used a list, and then for element list, it's element equal to 2, and then printed something. So don't worry about this. Indentation is must in Python. There are no braces to indicate blocks of code for class and function definition or flow control. Blocks of code are denoted by line indentation, which is rigidly enforced, right? There has to be proper indentation. The number of spaces in the indentation is variable, but all statements within the block must be indented at the same amount. So if I have to write something, now I'll show you something, okay? Now this will give me hello world, right? And if I print something here, print I am inside second for loop, okay? Now for everything I am inside second for loop. Let's just do one hello, okay? I do not want to confuse you guys. I am inside second for loop. Now let me get out and say print I am you see, it says I am inside first for loop, right? HELLO, whatever it printed, it was all inside second for loop. This all printed second for loop, but this got printed only once because I have only one hello. But if I would have had, let's say, 2, see here, I am inside, it's for the first string, and this is for the second string. Okay, so you get this, right? Look at the indentation. It's all it's the magic of indentation and nothing else. Okay, so I'm moving forward from here. Standard is to use 4 white spaces as per official recommendation. I use tab. Okay, officially it's 4, but I like using tab. That's easy. Some editors automatically take care of this indentation. I don't know whether it's 4 or 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, it's 4. I like using tab, so it automatically gives me 4. This PyCharm automatically takes care of that. Now you can also write your own scripts, that like scripts.py, and then execute it like this, Python, and then give your script name Python script.py. So if you are using Mac terminal, etc., you can try this out. Okay, tab gives issues in VI editor. Install Ubuntu, open a terminal, type Python, and you are there. It's installed by default. All Linux flavors, Macs, etc. comes with the default installation. Actually, yeah, that's about it. I mean, we are ahead of time, but I want to tell you something. See, there are, just go through it, okay? Today was first class, it was easy class, it was easy on you, but from tomorrow onwards it's going to get little complicated and deeper. So please go through everything that is here. Please go through the assignments as well. These are very simple, okay? It will not even take how much ever time is left. I mean, it will not even take 30 minutes for you to complete all the assignments, okay? Please go through these assignments right now. You still have time, and by tomorrow's class, if you would have done this, it will be easy for you, and from tomorrow onwards we'll be building on top of that. Okay guys, I'll see you tomorrow then.